All right, peace and blessings, everybody, and welcome to another episode of YB's Collaboration Corner in conjunction with Self-Publish in 30 Days. I'm your host, Rob YB Youngblood. And let me tell you something. If you've been listening to the podcast, you've been watching the podcast, I always talk about how I'm excited about the guests that I have come on. Excited is not even a word. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even have a word to describe how I feel right now to have my personal performance coach, Kendall Ficklin, here with you today. Kendall and I have been rocking together since 2016. We'll get into that a little bit. And the reason why you want to listen to this, whether you're an aspiring author or a business owner, what have you, is because Kendall literally has helped me to grow tremendously in my life and in my business, even in what I'm doing with Self-Publish in 30 Days. So I want to welcome my performance coach, Kendall Ficklin. What's going on, Kendall?
Yay.
That's where we get the clapping hands, right? Get the clapping hands.
Yeah. Bro, I need to hire you so you can just come and introduce me every time I go out somewhere.
Hey, listen, I'll be happy to do that. You know what I'm saying? It seems like, you know, what you did for E, I always told myself, if I got the call, I'll be happy to do that. Especially now, man. I'm in all these airports. I think about you too. I was looking at this picture. So for context, you posted this picture of you sleeping in the airport. Now, you talk about that all the time, and I want you to get into that a little bit. But I'm gonna be real. I know you personally. I'm like, was that a stage picture, dude?
That picture, absolutely. I remember too. What? I remember Brandon and I were coming back, I think, from Orlando or something, from a gig, and I was like, because we were going to do a documentary about the whole, like, my life, and so I was like, yo, we in the airport. Let me get some pictures because I never took pictures when I was in the airport. So I said, get a few pictures of me laying on the things and all that. And but yeah, that one was a stage picture, absolutely.
I'm like, dude, who in the world gonna catch a picture of a dude sleeping?
Nobody. Nobody. But I'm gonna tell you what was good. You're the only one that asked me that.
Oh, for sure. Nobody else knows the inside. So we going too deep. Kendall, please tell everybody who you are and why they should be listening to you.
Yeah, so I love to tell people, I don't necessarily like to get into, well, you know, I help individuals and organizations improve performance, productivity, and profitability in leadership, customer service, sales, team. But that sounds sweet.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, I've been in the game for a minute now. And as we all evolve and grow, we start to see what that purpose is. Like, we're passionate about a lot of things, but you get to the point in building your life and business where you see purpose. And so what I found out is my purpose is exactly what it was since I was a young boy, playing basketball as the point guard or the floor general, cutting hair for over 20 years, being that therapist, that coach behind the chair. And so who I am is I am someone that loves to help people go from where they are and help them get to where they desire to be.
Yeah.
And not just help, but empower, to help them grow, to help them develop. And that's what I do. Sometimes it's with individuals and it's coaching. Sometimes it's with teams and companies and businesses. It just depends. But I'm just that guy that wants to be his very best and lead by example. And for me, the example is everything. Right now, you know, I'm in the health, right? So I'm leading by example in my health. I'm leading by example in my marriage. I'm leading by example in my fatherhood. I'm leading by example in my business. And I'm leading by example in every area of my life. I'm doing my best to show people it's possible, because, you know, YB, I like to say, I ain't that sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. You got me saying that. Like, I tell people that all the time. Like, when I tell them my core story about how I grew up without my father, and I say, you know, I always preface it by saying, the reason why I'm telling you this is because I just want you to understand I'm not that sweet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I appreciate that. Yeah. And that keeps me humble, and I'm sure it does for you as well.
Yeah.
Because
but you know what it does, bro. Especially now in the time that we live in. We have a tendency of putting people on a pedestal,
right?
Meaning that they're infallible, untouchable, perfect people,
right?
And so we'll look at people on the pedestal and we'll clap for them, and we'll aspire to do what they do. But in the back of our mind, people are saying, "Well, I don't know if I can get up there," or, you know, I'm trying to reach up, when instead of you just should be reaching out.
Reaching out, yeah.
And so when I say I ain't that sweet, I'm telling people like, yo, if I can do it, I promise you can do it, and probably better.
Yeah, that's a good segue. So how did you get started? I mean, obviously you've been in the game for a minute, tell them about the shoe shine box, man. Tell them how I say it's crazy because I know all the stories, man. And I don't want to spoil it for folks, but how did you get started in the game? You've been in the game for a while. And when we talk about the game, for those that are listening, Kendall's coaching, speaking, he's an author multiple times over. How did you get your start, Kendall?
Yeah. So I started in business before I knew I was in business. And that was 8, 9 years old. Before there was a shoe shine story, there was a bicycle story where we would sell bike parts. We would actually steal the bike parts and then resell them. And then we were building bikes and selling those bikes that we built. Back then, probably make a couple of dollars or whatever. But it was then, and we worked together as a group and as a team. And then it was the shoe shine box, like creating my own shoe shine box, going to the bar where my father drank, shining shoes, making money, and then putting my friends on, saying, yo, you go down to that bar, that bar, that bar. All I want is X amount of dollars off of the shoes you shine. Meet me here, and then we'll. And so from that early age, just a natural thing, I was helping people build, grow, and scale in business. And then from there, like I never worked at McDonald's or Burger King or any of those fast food places. I was selling reefer. That's what we called it back then. I'm 53. I was selling loose joints for $2 and $3 and couldn't roll a lick. That was funny. And then everything, bro, if you name it, I've done it. I've had a home improvement business with my father. We had a plumbing business. I had a cleaning business. If you name it, we did it. But for me, it seemed like my mindset was always about what's the business. When the truth of the matter is, I just had to learn to follow my gut and follow my instinct. Yeah. So I tell people now, like, I don't necessarily use the term coach, only to identify. I'm a businessman. And I allow my life to create rhythm for my business. Right. And I allow my business to create rhythm for my life. And being a businessman means I am about exchanging services for revenue so I can help you get to wherever you want to be. That's right. Yeah, I love that. And I think it's so important, especially for those who are authors, to understand that your book is your business, right? It's not that you just write a book and then that's it. So talk a little bit about your journey as an author. What's funny, and I don't want to show you how many of these I have, but I still have copies of your work. Must match your want. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so for those of you who are listening, if you want a copy, hit me up. I got you for a special rate. I'm one of Kendall's distributors. Hey, but no, let's talk about that. Let's talk about your journey as an author. Obviously, you've been speaking and building your business, but how did you become an author, and what was your process or experience like in the beginning? 2009. I was cutting hair, and I remember saying in the shop one day, I'm gonna write a book. And I told my kids and telling everybody, I'm gonna write a book. And I just kind of put it out there. And, time went by, things and everything went by. And my kids asked me, they were like, Pop, where's that book you said? What's it about? And I started just freestyling, making stuff up. Yeah. I said, I'm gonna call it Rise and Grind, because at that time I was always posting on Facebook, Rise and Grind, Rise and Grind. Right. And so, I told them to write a book. 6 months went by, no book, didn't even start writing. Yeah. Super challenging for me to even sit down and put pen to paper and Wi-Fi to all these other things. So super difficult for me to do that. Right. And so more time went by, a year went by. Then my wife, who then was my girlfriend, asked me, where you at with the book? And then it became a thing where they were asking me often. And I just kept lying. I was just like, oh, I'm right there. It's right, almost ready, almost ready. Yeah. And I hadn't even begun to actually start working on it. Yeah. And truth of the matter, this is a true story. I remember one weekend I took a mega bus to Jacksonville, Florida, right? Took a mega bus to Jacksonville, Florida. And I said I was gonna lock myself in a room for 2 days, right, and finish this book. Now, initially it was supposed to be one way that I had in my head, but I ended up getting in that room for 2 days, shifting everything around. And bruh, I promise you, in that 2-day time, I didn't do anything but eat and work on that book. When I came out of that room in Jacksonville, Florida, I had the first draft of that book.
That's
and
awesome.
I sent it over to my wife, who's my girlfriend at the time. Her and her sister edited it because they got the master's degrees.
Yeah.
They did the editing and sent it back, and my book was ready. And then I did the self-publishing thing with Amazon, and I went through that whole process.
Yeah.
And the first book was called Rise and Grind. Rise and Grind. I think it was like your guide to greatness. And I still have the original one, the first test print that I got back from Amazon.
Yeah.
And I went through several different covers and all of this other stuff. Then I went on a little promotional tour around Atlanta, started doing spoken word with it because I was trying to figure out a way to sell it. And that was the first book. And then after the first one, I got 4 other ones. So I got a total of 5 right now.
Yeah.
And then the last one that I did was Your Work Has to Match Your Want.
Yeah.
I did Rising Guide, a woman's guide to greatness, something like that. There's just different variations of the book.
Yeah.
But I will say the book changed my life. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
The first book did it because it allowed me to actually complete something that was probably one of the most difficult things I ever had to do at that time. Once I actually got in that room for those 2 days, I was able to think. It got quiet. I took time and I was able to really let my mind go, right? Then the other thing it did was it gave me some belief and some confidence, right? Because I had finished something. I had done something that a very small percentage of the population had done.
That's right.
And it helped me when I did the other books. It helped me to realize how important and how powerful those books were. Like I went on a tour and you ended up with a bunch of those Your Work Has to Match Your Want. They're great lead. They're great for leads. They're great giveaways. They're just phenomenal, especially if it's a biography, right? If it's one of those books. But I recommend anybody, really it doesn't matter about business.
Yeah.
If you've been living this life, you should start writing.
Chronologizing, I mess up on that word all the time too. So
chronologizing your life, and start sharing that. If for nobody else, just for those people that are here after you're gone.
Yeah. So the beautiful thing about what you just said, and I pray that people get it, is that you created a product that you poured into, and that product was a lead magnet. Because here's the reality. I've been rocking with you for 5 years because you wrote a book. But I didn't come into the community because of the book. You said, here's a copy of this book. You get this book, you get access to my coaching for free.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying? And so the way, you could tell you're a businessman because it's like, you was like, okay, you want to connect with me, buy this book.
Yep.
And you'll figure out the rest down the line, but I'm gonna give you access. You're gonna get 30 days access. You get in the community, you buy this book, which I think is a phenomenal tool that I think a lot of authors should pick up on. But you were business owner, author. Let's talk about coaching. What has your coaching experience been like? And talk about how collaboration created currency for you as a coach.
So I remember about 4 years ago, I was speaking to a prospect for me to coach her. And she was very seasoned in her career. And she said to me, how much coaching experience do you have? And I said, about 15 years. And then she said, how many certifications do you have? And I said, absolutely none.
Yeah.
She said, well, where did you learn how to coach? And I said, from behind the barber's chair. And she paused and she said, what do you mean? I said, I've been coaching, right? I might not have been using the title, but what I did from behind that chair gave me the platform to speak, to communicate, to coach, and collaborate. Right now, I didn't even understand it until beyond the chair.
Yeah.
But I never called myself a barber, bro, ever. I never got a license to cut hair, ever.
Yeah.
But I knew that I loved it, but I thought it was the cutting. But then I realized it wasn't the cutting, it was what behind the chair allowed me to do,
Right.
what those relationships allowed me to do,
Right.
developing those relationships, and then what came from those collaborations and those relationships.
Yeah, that's good.
And so for me, the coaching piece is a natural thing. Now it has evolved and developed, even from when I met you.
Yeah.
But what it has done for me is when I go in with a coaching mindset, it allows me to say, let me make sure that I first connect, right? That is connecting with an individual. Then let me make sure that I communicate, right? And then after the connecting and the communicating, before I even think about coaching, I'm thinking about collaborating. How can I collaborate with this individual to add value in their life and for them to add value in my life? Sometimes it comes and turns into a coaching experience. And here's something, I think I might have even said this to you one time. People think that they come and I'm coaching them. And on one hand, that's true. But what they don't know is I'm learning from them just as much as they're learning from me.
Right. So it's mutually beneficial. It's not that you just coming to get you. It's a win-win situation on both sides.
I'm coming to give as well as get. Because if you notice, every time we having a conversation, I'm always saying, man, I've been working with a client. Man, I remember this client told me. Right. It's because I'm using their life story, their experiences as a tool for me to learn, grow, and experience things so that I can become a better version of myself or share that with somebody else to help them become a better version of themselves.
One of the things I love about you, Coach, is your transparency. Share with the listeners and those who are watching, what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome to get to where you are today?
Yeah, really two things. The one thing was becoming and being myself. You know, I came up in the nation in the 90s, walking with the preachers in the early 2000s, walking with E in the mid 2000s and later. And when you're walking with someone, you tend to take on their demeanor and their attributes. So in the 90s, I had a part, I had waves, fur coat, alligator shoes, and I was very militant. When I was walking with the preacher, I wore Ferragamo, belt, shoes, because that's what he wore. With E, the baseball cap, the when you want to succeed. So you find those mannerisms. And for me, I had to learn who I was, right? Maybe keep some frameworks, but really understand who I was. But taking some of what I learned from all of them and then allowing that to become a part of me and who I naturally was. The biggest thing after that was learning how to articulate it, learning how to communicate, because I wasn't a good student in school. I was smart, but I was lazy and I was average. And I didn't learn, I didn't learn English the way I needed to learn English. I didn't have good study habits at all. And so I had to learn how to communicate and not just communicate to one demographic of people. I had to learn how to communicate to different people. And for me, that was first and foremost, being able to tell my truth, meaning my story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then once I found out that me sharing the ugly actually helped me to connect more with people, that was when it was one of those things like, ooh, you mean when, if I tell people I used to, and I was able to, so I'm like, all right, you go ahead and tell everything. To the point now where my wife is like, bro, I'm gonna need you to stop. Things, you know, there's certain things that, but I've just learned that, and don't get me wrong, like there's some aspects of my life that I haven't released yet. Right. That I'm waiting for that right time, that right moment. There was a couple of times when I almost dropped a couple of things during the keynote, and I caught myself and was like, yeah, this ain't the good time for that.
The time,
But there are things that I will release. It's almost like it's on time release.
Right.
That I'll release at the right time, in the right season, the right moment, in front of the right people. And again, so it's the transparency and really understanding who I am. Those were the key things.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So as we begin to land the plane, Kendall, talk about who do you want to collaborate with? Because obviously, you know, collaboration is two-way street. There's people that want to collaborate with you, and I want you to tell us how they can connect with you if they like what they hear and they want to get with you. But who do you want to collaborate with as you're continuing to shift and change and you know develop and design where you're going? Who are you looking forward to collaborate with?
Yeah, I'm looking for CEOs, leaders, high performers, people that are not necessarily show me how to make money. They're already making money. Show me how to be my best self so that I can position myself to not just make more money, but improve my performance so that money is attracted to me. I'm looking for people that we have the same core values. We have the same core values. We're in alignment in the same core values. And I'm looking for people that truly want to be better, right? And I think that's the distinction. Like, it's a true story. We have some event spaces that we rent out. So my assistant was saying to me that this one individual wants to rent the space out for New Year's Eve. And but first he wants to connect with you. They have a couples thing. And he saw that we have G couples and he wanted to collaborate, right? And so the first thing I said to her was, I don't know him, right? So there's no need to collaborate until I can get to know him.
Right.
Let's schedule a phone call. Let's have a conversation. And it might not happen in that conversation. I have learned that collaboration happens after connection and communication.
Come on. Yep.
So I want to connect with you. I want to communicate with you. And even sometimes before we collaborate, we may do a project. Right. So let's do a project together and see how that goes. That way I get to know you. I get to like you. We get to trust each other. And then we can do a collaboration down the road. Yeah. But before anything happens, let's connect. But I want to collaborate and connect with people where we have the same core values. They truly and genuinely want to do more. They want to be more. They want to help more people. They want to add more value to the marketplace. Those are the people that I want to collaborate with and connect with.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You just gave me an idea. I'm gonna share it with you later. I can't put it out. Can't put it out just yet. Like you said, man. Some things you can't let it out just yet. Can't let it out just yet. It's on time release. It's on time release.
Let's go.
So how can people find you, Kendall? If folks love what you hear, love what they hear, it's their first time hearing you. They ain't never heard of your name before. Like, how can people connect with you and possibly explore options to work with you?
Bruh, every time somebody asks me that, I say the same thing. Google me. KENDALLFICKLIN. Google me. And the reason why I say that is because there was a time that if you put my name in Google, on the first page, the mugshot would come up.
Yeah. Before you say that, I'm gonna let you know, when you said that one time, I actually looked.
Yeah,
I was looking, and I had to go down several pages.
No
years
doubt.
ago. So it's probably gonna take. It's probably be like the 100th page. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. And the reason why I say that is because whenever you Google somebody, that is a chronological order of what that individual has been doing in the marketplace. Right. And so what happens is, when I say Google me in the past, the mugshot will come up. But if I say Google me now, you should be to go page after page after page, impact after impact after impact, phenomenal story after phenomenal story. Who have we helped? Who have we helped? What have we done? What have we done? And that should give you enough to be like, ooh, they out here making moves in the world, in the marketplace. They're out here doing things in the marketplace. So just Google me, and Google will tell you everything you need to know. I
love it. Yeah, this episode will be a part of that chronological order. So that's good.
Absolutely. Let's go.
That's real good. All right. So I typically ask my guests this question that has nothing to do with collaboration, has nothing to do with anything else, but to get some information from you. So say, for example, you're about to write your next book, right? So, got another book in you, several books, but we are going to cut the check for you to go anywhere in the world to write this book. So kind of like when you went down to Florida and you lock yourself in a room, let's say we're going to cut the check, send you anywhere in the world to write your next book. Where would you want us to send you? Where would you want to go?
Santorini, Greece, in the summer on that beach. Because, and that is the ideal learning place for me, on the beach. In cafes, not a lot of noise, but movement. I write best, I think best in those environments. And after looking at the pictures and all that so we were supposed to actually go next month, but looking at those pictures and things, I'm like, ooh, that's beautiful. Looking at the mountaintop and looking at the beach, that would be the place where I want to go to create that masterpiece.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, you all have been blessed by the best. My coach, I'm proud to claim, I don't care about nobody else he worked with. He my coach. But listen, you got the best today. Definitely Google Kendall. Check him out. And when you do reach out to him, let him know that you heard about him on YB's Collaboration Corner in conjunction with Self-Publish in 30 Days. I have the pleasure of being the president of sales for Self-Publish in 30 Days, where we focus on letting you know that this is the year for your new book. Be encouraged, be blessed, but most of all, continue to share your faith. And the way that you do that is by operating your gift, because your gift will make room for you. We'll see you next time. Peace.